where, like, where do you think, I guess, Danny, from your side, how do we, if it's a short term, right? We're saying, okay, this is getting, someone's eating this, or we're gonna, build it into that. What do you think, like, incentive wise, this creates if I'm a brand now saying, okay, I'm charging 2 or 3% more to the
Mm,
retailer, and the retailer's like, well, I'm not gonna pay that. You got to eat it, or something. I actually think what it's going to result in is like more overproduction and more over purchasing of inventory to
mm,
get your
yep,
price, right? How do
yep,
I get a lower price? You buy more. That's how it
yeah,
works. Always how it
yep.
works in wholesale. And what this does is I think it only leads into potentially expanding the oversupply, overproduction, and then the over purchasing at retail when you think about that, just to be able to
Yeah.
chase the perceived margin, right? Way you can speak way better about that, but I just feel like that's a cause and effect that we will see
Yep.
happen, as
And
well.
there goes your cash flow, right? So if you look at we're data nerds, right? We use a lot of data science. Our CEO Andrew Watson is a data scientist by trade. We deploy a lot of just data science analysis and machine learning and AI and top of all this kind of stuff, all kind of nerdy things. The so we look at data a lot, right? One of the reasons we built the Happy Buyers product is we'd worked on marketing for a long time, right? Because like bringing in new customers and building loyalty in customers is obviously extremely, extremely, extremely important. So people know the Happy Cabbage name through like marketing, targeted segmented marketing. Hey, I'm carrying a new pre-roll. I got a great deal on it. John, I think you'd like it. I can send a text or an email to you, put that product in front of you, get you in the store, track how many people come back in and get good ROI on that kind of targeting, right? We worked there for a long time. That works really, really well. We found, obviously, it's not the only problem that needs to be solved in here, but getting some of that data, we started to look at where cash was constrained for launching marketing efforts, opening new stores, like just talking to these retailers about their other challenges, and looking basically at aged inventory and the number of SKUs in the store and all. And basically, what the marketing starts to become is like I need to clear out old inventory and I need to clear out the SKU that I probably shouldn't. That maybe I tried. I love trying new products. I think people should try new products. I never want a retailer to be scared to try a new brand, but just so many SKUs, right? Like how many bets can you place at once, right? It's like playing 37 hands of blackjack at a table. Like maybe play two. Don't have that many going at once in here, right? And so we started to kind of tug at that thread of that problem. Where's that coming from? How do we fix that? That overstocked inventory, right? So overstocked inventory, too many SKUs, so menu planning, and then just overstocked inventory, ordering too much, not understanding your true turnover rate, right? Not basically what we always talk about, which is like the second I sell out that pre-roll, I'm restocking it is like that ideal scenario of like you're turning it over as fast as you're replenishing it. But what we see already is basically retailers acting as like vaults for the brands. And I'll put price protection in that. I see retailers justify this in a lot of ways not being a problem. Like, oh, well, I can just return that. I have margin protection. And it's like, well, why are you taking all this product and putting it in your vault? You don't have that much space just to like return it. This is literally kicking the can down the road. This is a problem. This is an oversupply problem, right? That brand's trying to turn it off to you to get off their books temporarily and move it around and hope it sells. But you're already putting margin protection in, so you're expecting it not to sell, and then it sits and you return it. You're exactly right that unit costs are super, super important. And people have budgets on ordering and they're looking at all these margins and they're negotiating this margin protection. So what's going to happen? We already see this. Oh, I want to manage 14 days of supply. And then we'll flag in our system, you have 92 days of supply, John. And then you start to justify it. Well, I got a good deal on it.
Yeah.
And it's like there's probably better ways to negotiate a deal that don't just require you to like shelve this inventory for somebody else that's not going to move in that period of time. Oh, we know it's going to move eventually. We got a good deal on it, right? Well, yeah, if the price goes up 15, 20%, and then I want to maintain my same price, and then I'm going to order more to do that, then the retailer is just shelling out temporary cash, even if price protection's in here, right? You're not a bank, like you're not a loan shark. You're not a vault. You need that money. You need to throw up a billboard to attract new customers. You need to host an event. You need to sponsor a local community thing. You need to fight for regulations. Like you don't want to tie that cash up for 90 days, even if, oh, it's protected. Like that's cash flow. You need that. And
Well,
I
on the other
do
side,
think you're
right,
going
the
to
brands
overorder.
turned around going, well, we need to produce, we're producing to this demand, right? Wow, we got all these new
Yeah.
sales. Let's buy more packaging. Let's get more newts. Let's get more of this,
Yeah.
right? Let's do more automation, right? Again, perceiving what could be this false demand, right? And I think it's
Right.
the idea of this, like we were talking about past, is like your incentives being aligned with your provider are incredibly important. Right, because what I look at is if I'm charging a take rate as a platform, my goal is to get you to move as much volume through my platform. I do not care how healthy it is for you if you're overproducing or whatever. I just want you to move as much GMV through my site as possible because I'm going to charge fees on it. Right? As a
Mm,
SaaS provider is charging a monthly rate, the more you put in, you're not paying us anymore at Apex, right? What we want to do is to maximize efficiency. We want to make sure, hopefully, maybe we're saying, hey, based on data we're getting from great partners like Happy Cabbage, we think that you're overproducing by 15 or 20%. This is the actual demand. This is true up based on what you're forecasting of stores you can get
mm,
into. And now we're actually telling you to produce less as a
yeah.
platform. Because our incentive is to make sure you're profitable and to make sure that your unit economics and gross margins are as strong as they can, and you understand the data and the cost accounting. That I think is a really important thing too when people think about their providers, right? Whoever that is,
Hmm.
no matter what it is, software could be anything, right? Is are your incentives aligned, and how do you make sure that they are? Because if they are, then that provider is going to give you, they'll, they charge you $1 and you're going to get 100 back, right? Because again, they're realizing what their place is as your provider in the scope of what you need them for and what problem you're trying to solve for them, and ultimately as the provider, what promise have you made to that client, and are you fulfilling that promise, right? Or have you promised something and then a year or two later said, market's changed. People should grow up. We should all mature. Here's fintech. Take this thing, right? Or
Yeah.
take this solution and you just, it is what it is. And I think that is a core, I think maybe the issues here is just making sure incentives align, because if it doesn't and we start to pass this buck down, or if we're trying to incentivize retailers to buy more, it just makes everyone more unhealthy as an industry that today could really use more strength, right?
Yeah.
And more reinforcement rather than trying to stack a bunch of fees or things on top of
Hmm.
what is already somewhat of a leaning, tower of Pisa that's swinging back and forth in the wind.